hot on the heels of an eventful midweek.
Now we're striking. The Galaxy have gone back out in front.
Week 10 in MLS and the first Florida derby of the season. There was an all-Cascadia affair with Vancouver at Seattle. While chasing the Sounders in the West, SKC entertained LAFC. And that's where we begin our review.
Polito, right foot, goal!
Spirits were high at Sporting Kansas City.
And Shadowy knocks it in! The Hungarian assassin!
While LAFC...
Vela! Feeling it, Carlitos!
were starting to move in the right direction.
Cifuentes on the back post, and LAFC have found the breakthrough.
Commentary comes from Matt Jackson and Phil Blacken.
Cifuentes, who was looking for Rossi, falls fortunately back into his path though. Now Kim, and again, and scores! And it's the breakthrough goal for LAFC. It's the first ever MLS goal for Kim Moon-Hwan.
I think he's chuffed to bits quite rightly. He shouldn't have that shooting opportunity. Someone has to come out to the ball. No chance at all for Tim Melia. Absolute delight though. First goal, well done Kim. Can't get out at the moment, well, LAFC. They've stopped passing with any quality. Great chance here. Oh, that's a... Oh, it's a clear book, and I don't think it'll be a red. Oh, it is.
He was already, I think, on a yellow anyway, but it looks like the referee has reached for the straight red. Tristan Blackman off.
Yeah, we can have the argument about whether it should have been the yellow or the red, but he was leaving the field to play one way or the other anyway.
It's going to be Busio off the bar. A brilliant attempt, and the closest that SKC have come to levelling it.
Oh, that's so unlucky. LAFC got to keep the ball when they can, got to be brave enough to pass it and not have four bodies stranded upfield like they've got now.
Sorts of options in the middle again. The clearance wasn't convincing, and Polito picks his spot to level it. It had been coming, and Sporting Kansas City have levelled it up.
This is entirely defendable. You've got to do better with the clearance. Farfan doesn't really deal with it, gets something on it, and then it's a fine strike. Pace beating Romero.
First real involvement for Dia. Espinoza. Russell. Challenge laid down to the home team here. Susi, good ball. Good stop as well.
Got to score. Brilliant delivery. Head it anywhere but central. If he just flicks that, no chance for the goalkeeper on this surface. Makes a good save, but when that was at him, he'd expect to save it. You're expecting to lose, certainly when that goal went in, the equaliser. They'd have thought the worst, LAFC. They've hung in there. Not many clear chances gone against them.
Mendes working it wide, and this time it's in. Fabulous finish from Shadowy. They have turned it around after all. And it's the man of the moment for Sporting Kansas City.
Really good play. Busio, unsurprisingly, starting the move. And it's a fine finish. That's not an easy skill. Sets up nicely off the right foot to be able to curl it. Big moment.
Would be a significant success for SKC. Team that finished top of the regular season standings in the West in 2 of the last 3 years, but they were exposed, and that was the chance to level it for Carlos Vela. The exact player they would have wanted on the end of the chance, and wide it goes. Full time at Children's Mercy Park, Sporting Kansas City 2, LAFC 1.
Credit to the guys for staying in the game and finding a way to come back. And it's never easy playing against a team that goes down a man. And we found the way late in the game. And then we held on to the win, which was great.
LAFC's two nearest neighbours went head-to-head for the second Cali Clasico of the season, this time at PayPal Park. An own goal gave the Galaxy victory a month ago, but here they led early through their usual supplier. Chicharito converting Samuel Groncier's cross for his 9th goal of the season. Another setback for the Quakes after their midweek 5-0 thumping at Orlando, and into the second half before they managed a shot on target themselves. Chofis beat Galaxy keeper Jonathan Bond, but not the post. A scare that Greg Vanny's side responded to immediately. Kevin Cabral, the provider this time, as MLS's most prolific marksman struck again.
And it's another tap-in, and it's another goal already onto double digits. Chicharito Hernandez.
The Galaxy relied upon an impressive defensive display to win that first meeting, but here they were dominant in every department. Another cross into the box was met not by Chicharito this time, but the unfortunate Florian Ljungwirth. A miserable week for San Jose did at least deliver a late consolation. 17-year-old Cade Cowell struck his 3rd goal of the season, but after a strong start, this was a 6th defeat in 7 games for the Quakes. And they could certainly do with their luck improving a little. In stoppage time, they struck the woodwork for the 2nd time in the match. Andy Rios denied this time. But after back-to-back wins, the Galaxy's confidence is growing ahead of next weekend's meeting with SKC, thanks largely to their star striker.
Vancouver lost out to a late goal against the LA Galaxy in midweek, while their Cascadia rival Seattle benefited from one by Raul Ruidiaz. And the Peruvian was the man opening the scoring late in the first half with his 9th of the season from Brad Smith's cross. The lead remained intact at the break thanks to the Sounders goalkeeper Stephen Cleveland. He's had an excellent run deputising for the injured Stephen Fry. And this save came much to the relief of Alex Roldan, whose mistake let in Deiber Caicedo. However, 3 minutes into the second period, the keeper was caught out by racing out of his goal to meet a long ball, leaving an unguarded net for Christian Dajome to exploit. Defender A.B. Sissoko also unable to prevent the equaliser from the Colombian. The Whitecaps came into this second bottom of the Western Conference on the back of a 5-game losing run, but 7 minutes later they took the lead against the leaders, Lucas Cavallini bundling the ball in, Dajome this time providing the assist. With the only remaining unbeaten record in MLS now under threat, Seattle rallied, but missed 2 big chances to draw level midway through the half. Ruidiaz, thwarted by Maxime Crepeau, before sub Fredy Montero, their all-time top scorer, fluffed the follow-up. It would take another sub to earn them a point. The goal they were looking for arrived with 20 minutes to go, a first for the club for Jimmy Medranda.
Came off Montero, the head! The Sounders are level!
Vancouver held on to claim just their 2nd away point of the year. Montero unable to direct his header past Crepeau. 11 games unbeaten since the start of the season now for the Sounders. They're just 1 game away from equaling the all-time MLS record.
The 3rd Cascadia side, the Portland Timbers, hosted Minnesota United, who required just 90 seconds to show why they hadn't lost in 5 games. Adrian Unu's 2nd goal in 4 days put the Loons ahead at Providence Park. It was the fastest goal in the club's history, and it rocked the Timbers. But they'd fought back from 2 down to draw with Houston on Thursday and hinted at another comeback when Diego Valeri tested Tyler Miller. But Minnesota continued to carry the greater threat, thanks largely to their 2 recent signings. Franco Fragapane helping to create another chance for Unu, denied this time by Steve Clark. And the Portland keeper remained the busiest man on the field as Minnesota looked to make sure. His save to keep out Nico Hansen was worth celebrating. And with a little more luck, the Timbers might have snatched a draw. Inside the final 10 minutes, Claudio Bravo struck the post. But Adrian Heath's side are on a roll, 6 unbeaten now, to move above Giovanni Savarese's men in the standings.
Having run Seattle close in midweek, Freddy Juarez and Real Salt Lake hosted a Houston Dynamo side sitting just a point above them in mid-table. And Justin Glad's first goal of the season, after only 10 minutes, capped a good start. With 4 goals in his previous 4 games, midfielder Damir Krajlak was a man in form, and only the post denied the Croatian another here. Houston had come from behind to secure a 1-1 draw in their previous away game at LAFC thanks to Maxi Urruti, and his finish early in the second half gave them the chance to do so again. That had come against the run of play, and Juarez said his side only had themselves to blame after failing to make the most of great chances like this one for Kreilach. With the game seemingly heading for a draw, there was late drama in stoppage time when Kreilach went down after tangling with Dynamo defender Tim Parker. He then faced a nervous wait while video review took a closer look. Having checked the pictures for himself, referee Nima Sagafi said no penalty. It's just one win in the last 7 now for RSL, 1 in 6 for Houston, who've drawn their last 3.
Bottom of the West met top of the East when FC Dallas welcomed the New England Revolution to Toyota Stadium. And it didn't take long for the form book to get a bit of a rewrite. Ricardo Pepi punishing some midfield sloppiness by the high flyers. Luchi Gonzalez's hosts hadn't won in 6 games, but certainly didn't look like it. And their homegrown striker had the Revolution reeling. Inside 20 minutes, Justin Che's cross was steered by Pepi onto the post. After 5 straight wins either side of the international break, this wasn't part of the New England plan. But when their chance came, they were typically ruthless. Just past the half hour, Brandon Bye's deflected cross helped Gustavo Bo score for his 4th game running. But amid their recent winning streak, Bruce Arena's side have started to concede rather too often. And they were carved open again on the stroke of half-time. Jesus Ferreira bore down on goal, only to find Revolution keeper Matt Turner waiting. But the visitors were second best in the first half, and the longest winning streak of the MLS season came to an end soon after the interval. When Dallas broke forward again, this time their 18-year-old local hero wasn't to be denied his 2nd of the game and 4th of the season.
Ricardo Pepi is in. Second defender is coming over. Pepi got hit out of the play. It scores! Ricardo Pepi's first brace with FC Dallas, and he's restored the lead.
Staying in Texas, Austin FC played host in MLS for only the 2nd time, as MLS Cup holders the Columbus Crew came to town and were almost shocked inside 20 seconds. Diego Fagundes let them off the hook, firing wide from an excellent position, missing his chance to write his name in club history. The first goal at their new Q2 stadium proved elusive, despite the hosts enjoying the better chances in the first half. Jared Stroud denied a first in MLS himself by crew keeper Eloy Room, to leave both coaches wanting more from their players at the break. In contrast to the first half, it was the visitors that made the fastest start to the second, with playmaker Lucas Zelarajan taking aim after just 90 seconds. A strong right hand from former crew keeper Brad Stuver kept the Argentine at bay. Zelarajan then turned provider for Jassy Zardes, but Stuver secured a 2nd straight home clean sheet. The striker and coach Caleb Porter left frustrated, while it's the 6th time in 7 games Austin have failed to score.
New York City FC began the weekend 4th in the East after a welcome win on Wednesday against Atlanta. Just 1 point behind them in 7th were their visitors to Red Bull Arena, DC United, who had beaten Ronnie Dyler's side on the opening day of the season. Watching this one was Jonathan Beck.
Here's Maxi Morales. Oh, it's hit Heinz Eyck and it's dropped over the top. This is Castellanos, and a fine save from Bilamid, who gets it straight back from Tati Castellanos. A lead off the 2nd time, an excellent save the first, and he's bowled it out already. DC United wasting no time. Moses Nyman over the top. Nigel Roberta had stayed on side. It's Roberta! It's a fabulous goal. A first in MLS for the Dutchman on his full debut. An excellent spot from Nyman. Look at that for a first touch. A confident run and a fine finish. No chance at all. It's 1-0. Morales over the free kick. He's floated it to Chano. And over the top, he can't keep his header down. It's a good chance. There's a couple offside in the middle, but Chano is on when the ball comes in. Acevedo buzzing around. Looks to drop it into Castellanos. That's a lovely touch for Torarinson. Into the path of Tajuri Shradi. Oh, and he's forced it through for Castellanos. And he does well again. Jesus Medina is there. Looks like he wants to settle for a throw, but all the pressure's coming from Ronny Dyler's side at the moment since they fell behind. Here's Acevedo sweeping it beautifully over the top for Thiago Andrade. He's timed his run perfectly. Back inside, still Thiago Andrade, saved by Hamid. Well, he did so well to keep hold of the ball, having initially stayed onside. Inside Naha, and then inside Gressel, and then through the legs of Frederic Briand. It's saved by Hamid. Maxi Morales with the corner. Plenty of height to aim for. Keaton Parks at the near post. A first of the season for the big midfielder. He scored in this one last season. He's come to the rescue in this late on. Timed his jump brilliantly, and in off the post it goes. Finally, they come good from a set piece. Shana, he's given it away cheaply under no real pressure at all to Paredes, who has Areola on his right-hand side. Here is Areola, who just has to check and takes aim. The aim is just wide. No touch from Sean Johnson, who's keen to get on with it. But a real chance for the visitors to seal all 3 points here with just over a minute to go. This, surely, is going to be it. 15 seconds of the allotted stoppage time to go. It's Alvaro down to Areola. Straight at Johnson. What a moment. Back out to Gressel, this time safely into the arms of Johnson, who plays on. NYCFC don't want to settle for a point. And still, Thiago Andrade, who blows past Donovan Pines, and suddenly it's opening up for the Brazilian. Back on the left, it's in! And surely NYC have won it. What a moment for Thiago Andrade. 2 goals in 2 games for him, from one end to the other, in the blink of an eye. Excellent pace for so late on in the game. Hamid got a touch with his foot, but not enough. It's an incredible end to the game for New York City, who've won it by 2 goals to 1.
I'm just so happy because to get on an average day, to get 3 points, and also in the way we did it, that's just unbelievable.
Orlando came into the Florida derby against Inter Miami off the back of 6 points and 8 goals from their last 2 games, but they almost trailed inside 2 minutes at Drive Pink Stadium. Jay Chapman's shot kept out by Brandon Austin. An encouraging start for Phil Neville's side, who'd lost 3 on the bounce without scoring. That was rectified by their big-name substitute in the second half.
Argentinian, Higuain fires the ball! 1-0 Miami!
Gonzalo Higuain's strike only served to stir Orlando's superstar to life. Inside 5 minutes, Nani's first-time cross was given a finish to match by Chris Mueller, and Orlando were level. That was their Portuguese captain's 3rd assist of the season, and he'd also scored 5 goals, a tally he improved in spectacular fashion.
Driven by Nani, he scores! 2-1 Orlando City. Take a bow, Nani. Ay, ay, ay.
The stunned host managed one more effort to avoid another damaging defeat. In stoppage time, Chapman's cross was headed over by Leandro Gonzalez Perez, and they're still without a home victory.
Things had been going well for Jim Curtin and the Philadelphia Union, riding high in the East on the back of a 7-game unbeaten league run. But an unfortunate own goal from defender Jacob Glesnes saw them fall behind inside 2 minutes in Chicago. Glesnes had scored goal of the week last weekend against Atlanta. This time it was Quinn Sullivan's turn to challenge for that honour. A first ever for the 17-year-old on his first start in MLS. He's now the youngest scorer in the Union's history. They'd already won at Soldier Field this year, and in first-half stoppage time, one of the scorers in that game last month gave them a good chance of victory again. Corey Burke making it 2-1. The Fire's last win had come against Inter Miami 4 games ago. They'd lost all 3 since without scoring, but Boris Sekulic struck back early in the second half. And 11 minutes later, an upset looked on the cards.
Oh, and it's in! Where did Pineda come from? 3-2!
Sadly for Mauricio Pineda, he didn't prove the match winner, as his keeper Bobby Shuttleworth saw this save bounce off Sekulic for an own goal.
Here's Shabilko, danger here! Saved and then put into his own goal, it's 3-3. And how unlucky can you get?
No goal for Kasper Żabilko, but his contribution was recognised by his teammates. A hugely entertaining back-and-forth contest nearly served up a late winner when Burke played in Jamira Montero. Shuttleworth preserved a point for the Fire, but it wasn't enough to lift them off the bottom in the East.
Without a win in 4, Atlanta United completed a New York double, hosting the Red Bulls just a few days after losing at NYCFC. Defending like this made another defeat likely, but Wickelman Carmona and Patrick Klimala couldn't punish Alan Franco's mistake. Brad Guzan clung on, and the hosts, who'd drawn 3 of their previous 4 games, didn't create a meaningful chance of their own until there were less than 15 minutes remaining. Brooks Lennon's shot superbly kept out by Carlos Coronel, as a previously low-key contest built to an exciting conclusion. Gabriel Heinz's side clearly sensed their chance to beat the Red Bulls for the first time ever in the regular season at the 9th attempt. And there was no doubting Marcelino Moreno's commitment. His shot from the prone position almost caught out Coronel. Atlanta have developed a bad habit for conceding late goals recently, but this time they almost provided the sucker punch. Lennon's corner steered onto the post by Miles Robinson a minute from time, as Gerhard Struber's side held on for their first away point of the campaign.
Nashville came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Montreal earlier in the season, a feat they've accomplished 3 times this year. But the way they played in the first half, with Dax McCarty going close, it suggested they wouldn't necessarily need to do that this time. However, they did fall behind just past the hour, Kiki Struner heading in his first for Montreal from just their second corner of the game. Nashville's best chance of the second half also stemmed from a corner. Abu Danladi denied by James Pantemis at close range as the home side pushed for an equaliser. The Ghanaian striker remained right at the centre of things, and his battle with Pantemis was the highlight of the closing stages, as the Canadian keeper denied him and Walker Zimmerman before Randall Leal fired it over. However, the pressure finally told in stoppage time as Danladi made it third time lucky, heading in Jack Mayer's cross for a dramatic equaliser. His first of the year on just his second appearance, it kept them in touch with the top 5 in the East.
To our final game, and having gone down to a late Nashville winner in midweek, toiling Toronto attempted to halt a 4-match losing streak when they hosted Cincinnati, but they wouldn't do it like this. Some clumsy defending, gifting the opener to Alan Cruz. Easy to see why Toronto had conceded 6 goals in 2 outings since the international break, but they look more promising going forward. Marky Delgado's close-range header somehow kept out by Kenneth Vermeer. Chris Armas's side continued to create and spurn chances. Before half-time, Patrick Mullins was poised to strike until Ronald Matarrita intervened. Toronto had scored 4 times themselves in those defeats earlier in the week, so an equaliser seemed possible. Instead, there was more frustration for the home side soon after the interval. Dom Dwyer providing the finish to Tsubasa Endo's clever pass, but doing so from an offside position. The decision was a tight one, but certainly correct. And it was also clear that Toronto might pay the price for all these missed opportunities. And when they did, it was hard to argue with the quality of the strike that sealed back-to-back wins for Cincinnati after Wednesday's victory over Chicago Fire. Skipper Luciano Acosta capping a man-of-the-match display with a superb finish to delight his coach Jaap Stam. Perhaps a little harsh on Toronto, whose losing streak is now a real concern.
That win for Cincinnati lifts them up to 11th, above Inter Miami in the East, while the New York Red Bulls have leapfrogged DC United into the playoff positions. Orlando cut the gap to New England down to 2 points at the top.
In the West, Minnesota were the big movers. Their win at the Timbers took them from 9th up to 5th. SKC are now 2 points behind leader Seattle, who remain undefeated, while FC Dallas are off the bottom, replaced by Vancouver.
It was a week where teen sensations shone.
Ricardo Pepe's first brace with FC Dallas.
And it's a fabulous finish by Quinn Sullivan, the 17-year-old.
And the big names showed they aren't quite done yet.
Play towards Chicharito, and it's another goal already onto double digits. Chicharito Hernandez.
He scores!
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.